considered Satan a threat.
Right, before we start, yeah, big up Ebo and Mecca. This is just a little food for thought. Something that I came across the other day and I was like, yo, I'm gonna sit down and discuss this. I don't have much time, but we're gonna try to get through this, yeah? Just thinking out loud as this brother is chatting, he's making a point, and I wanna know how you lot feel about it. So let's reload him and have a little listen, man. Big up yourselves.
God considered Satan a threat to cohabit with him in heaven. God decoded Satan as an enemy, a very dangerous enemy, a dangerous threat to cohabit with him, to live with him in heaven.
So let's pause it right there. Clearly he's describing, I would say, the God of the Bible, and even to some extent, the God of the Quran. Iblis, the devil of the Bible, the devil of the Quran, when he talks about this dangerous man, right? So he's calling him a man. But if we uncode it or decipher it, he's talking about Lucifer being an angel of light and living in heaven with the angels, or Iblis being like the angels, even though he was a jinn, which is another story that don't make no sense. But we'll get into that another day. So anyway, yeah, I'm listening to this and I'm thinking, you know what? It's mad. I've always wondered, why would God create the devil knowing that the devil would do what he did? You know, like with God having the foresight and the knowledge of everything before it happens, why would you create a being knowing that that being was going to, create bare suffering for your humans and challenge you and break the rules, and now there's a big war in heaven? It don't even make sense. Even God warring in heaven, even there being a war, makes it seem like Satan's got a little bit of power, or Lucifer's got a power. Them demons, them angels that were with him, they got a bit of power. 1 second. Why create Lucifer knowing the mischief, the mayhem that he was going to create? So this is one of the things I've always thought about. I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, and then ever since then, I've taken my time to explore, every religion possible, and still my mind is open, Still my mind is open. I got everything you could think of here, man. The Bhagavad Gita, whatever, everything, right? So yeah, it's made me think, like, why would you do that for a God with foresight, for a God with that knows the future before it happens? Why are you creating this? Now the answer I normally get is, oh, it's for a test for man, but it doesn't really make much sense. If I'm honest with you, that logic in terms of the Christian ideology of Wagwan, that part doesn't make sense. So this is one of the things that I struggle with, right? Let's keep going anyway.
Satan is too dangerous to be my neighbor in heaven. And then God made a decision to send this dangerous man down to where his children, his creatures are, to go and live with them.
Now that's another mad thing. Imagine you got children, they live on the ground floor of your building and you live at the top floor of your building, and you have a lodger in your premises, right? You got a lodger, and this lodger, this tenant is acting up. He's proven to be dangerous. He's proven to be disobedient. He's proven to be anti your thing. Would you send that tenant to go down and live with your children on the bottom floor? On the ground floor? Would you say, yeah, you know what, go and live with my youths? So that's another thing where I actually think, why would you send Lucifer down from heaven? You've had a war with him. Why not just destroy him? You send him to earth, into the abyss, so that he can go and wreak havoc on earth, even though you didn't really want him on earth. Because when Satan was going back and forth, there's a point in the scriptures where God says to Satan, like, yo, where you been? Another thing that I don't understand, why is God that knows everything asking anybody any questions about where they've been? He asked Adam where he's been. He asked Adam where he's been, or where's Eve. He's asking now Lucifer, like, where have you been? Lucifer says, I've been going back and forth on the earth, and it's just a weird thing. But anyway, you send man down, he comes down to earth, he's wreaking havoc, you've created this guy. All of this was unnecessary from my reckoning. But what do I know?
Children will now fight to conquer the same man he considered an enemy to live within. There are many planets on Earth. There are Jupiter, Mars.
I said there's many planets on Earth. I don't know if you meant to say that, but he's basically saying that there's supposed to be other habitable places, but I don't even believe in these places anyway. Not in the same way, but I hear what he's saying. You could have sent him somewhere else. Why have you sent him to Earth with the humans?
Neptune, many of them, God only chose to send Satan down to earth. And you can hear him shouting in the Bible. He says, "Woe unto the people upon the earth, for a great beast has been sent down to you." Let's even put it in contextual analysis. He is a father. I have 6 children. And then he is living in Enugu State, while my children are living in Abia State. And then I got a very big threat. Maybe a lion came to visit me in Enugu State. I, as a father, I discovered this lion is too dangerous. But I have the power and the potential to destroy this lion. But instead of me to destroy this lion, what I did was to send this lion down to Abia State, where my children are living. And I will now tell my children to fight to conquer the lion.
Yeah, so it's definitely one of my big questions about the creator, you know, and I feel like the creator has given us the potential to question, and also I believe we have the potential to fathom, especially if he wills it. Especially if the creator wills it, we can fathom and understand and decipher. Some people feel like they're limited. There's a cognitive limitation to what we can overstand and but I don't agree with that. I think personally that we have the ability to overstand, but we got to have the right parameters and be given the right information. Now, it's either in the explanation of the Bible or the interpretation of the Bible where I think it just gets lost. It doesn't make sense. It stops becoming logical, and maybe everything doesn't have to be logical, but from where I'm standing as a father, as a man on earth, it doesn't make sense to me. So everything that we're suffering through right now is part of a big test, but it's not a test for God, it's a test for us. Satan has been allowed to run riot and create all havoc and infiltrate and influence, and then God has sent himself or sent his son to die for us. So I just think it's just getting very complicated I feel like I've got to do more mental gymnastics for it to work than for it not to work. So I need some understanding. So hopefully some of my brothers and sisters in faith can jump in the comments and like steer me in the right direction of how you lot come to these conclusions, or how do you rectify these quandaries, these queries, because I think this brother here makes a very good point. Not to say that it's the be all and end all, but I just want to get more understanding on why God would even go through this whole process. And then in the end, man is just trying to tie it up with, oh yeah, it's just because God loves you, so he sent his son, or he sent himself. I don't get it. I don't get it. So he's basically saying God's left it to us, do you know what I mean, to fight the evil one while he's up in heaven, just observing it and waiting for the days where judgment comes. And I don't know, I'm not ruling it out, because I definitely see lots of aspects of these scriptures that I think ring bells and definitely correlate with realities that we've experienced and that we're going through. So I can't dismiss the Bible or the scriptures or any of the holy books. I can't dismiss them, and I don't want to dismiss them. I simply want to understand from a perspective that rings true with me, you know, with something that, because nothing yet has fully rang true. I've heard bits and bobs that I'm like, yo, do you know what I mean? I go church certain times, I've been to the mosque certain times, and not to say those are the only religions. You know, there's other thought processes that I'm open to, but I'm open to from the perspective of trying to learn and decipher the truth. I don't want to pick something just because it strokes my ego or because it sounds the best, it goes the best with what I already expected. I don't want confirmation bias. I just want the truth. So I'm just thinking out loud. Do you know what I mean? Let me know what you lot think. I'm going to try to chop this down so it's real quick. Let me know what you lot think in the comments. Interact with me. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, just wait for the next fuckery post and you can do laughing emojis and fire emojis. You get me? Skluckle.